Iron Ranks. We're back again here on the Second Tier YouTube channel having a big old rank session. Today we're looking at the teams who have the hardest and easiest opening games of the new Championship season. We're going to be looking at the opening 5 or 6 games of every team and assessing how easy or difficult they've got things based on various different factors. I got the idea for this after looking at Opta, who have done this big old graph of who's got the most difficult opening 4 games of the season, which I found very interesting. But then Opta lost all credibility in my eyes when I saw their league table. What the actual So I'm here to give you the genuine answer on who's got the most difficult and easiest fixtures in the Championship this season. We've got our rankings here. We've got very kind. We've got decent. Got Zach Viner in the middle once again, spelt his name correctly this time. Absolutely just bang average, right down the middle, no opinion whatsoever on those fixtures. Could be better, and oh geez. And just to get this out of the way, straight off the block, I'm going to put Sheffield Wednesday in oh geez. I mean, their fixtures aren't actually that bad, but the fact of the matter is, they haven't got any players, so every fixture is going to be difficult for them. So I just wanted to get that right on the map straight away, because even though if they had a competitive squad, I don't think this fixture schedule would actually be too bad. But I think anyone who's playing Sheffield Wednesday in the opening games of the season is just being given an absolute voucher, really, like a free 3-point voucher almost. So if you've got Sheffield Wednesday early on, you look in basically. I think if you have Sheffield Wednesday in late autumn, winter time, I would be slightly annoyed because, and this is all hypothetical at the moment because it's still a big if right now, if a takeover gets done, then they may start assembling a competitive squad, and then it's not necessarily fair on those teams who didn't play Sheffield Wednesday at the start of the season when they couldn't put a team together. So it's not great, although admittedly that's a big if right now. So yeah, I'm putting Sheffield Wednesday in OGs just so we can get that awkwardness out the way. Otherwise, we'll do this alphabetically, and that means we're starting off with Birmingham City, who have got a very interesting set of opening fixtures. I mean, Ipswich on the opening day is obviously not ideal, but they are at home. Then they've got Leicester in 4 games' time away, which is a tricky game. But otherwise, if I was a Birmingham fan, I'd be looking at those fixtures and be thinking the other 4 are actually pretty tidy. So I'm going to put them in decent. By the end of this, I may start moving a few around, but right now I'm looking at that thinking that's decent, even though they have got 2 tricky games in there. Now that I'm saying that, I'm maybe thinking maybe I should move them down. But the 4 games that they've got around those 2 are very, very kind indeed. Next up is Blackburn Rovers, who I don't think will be too annoyed about this start to the season. Obviously, they've got Birmingham and Ipswich, but they are both at home, so it could be worse. Otherwise, the other 4 games aren't too bad either. They could definitely be a lot worse. I think screaming Zach Viner to me, that's a very average start for Blackburn. As I say, the fact that they've got to play 2 big fish at the start isn't ideal, but they are both at home and they'll probably take that as a bit of a tester to see where they are at the start of the season. Bristol City are next, and they've got Sheffield United away at the start, which is far from ideal. But otherwise, I'd say the rest of these fixtures are actually looking very, very kind. They've, of course, got their Sheffield Wednesday voucher, which I think they'll definitely take that at the start, particularly if it's away, because, as I said at the start, if Sheffield Wednesday do manage to assemble a pretty strong team in the second half of the season, or at least a competitive team in the second half of the season, then they'd prefer to be playing them away early on, if you see what I mean. So, yeah, actually, I think Bristol City, that is a very kind start for them. I'd be very happy if I was a Bristol City fan with those opening set of fixtures. Yes, Sheffield United away, not a great start, but after that, they can really start cooking. We have got Charlton next, who have got Leicester at home in the 3rd game of the season, Sheffield United away in the 6th game, QPR, Millwall, London derbies, tricky games as well. Bristol City away could be tricky too. Yeah, I'll put that in Zach Viner for now. I'm not Initially, when I looked at them, I thought that might be all right, but now that I'm speaking out loud, it does sound quite a tricky one for Charlton. Definitely going to be a bit of a bumpy ride for them heading into the Championship, but it's a good early chance for them to bloody some noses as well. So, Zach Viner energy I'm getting from those fixtures for the Addicts. Coventry City are next, and I'm looking at these thinking this is a very nice start as well for Cov. If you listen to our league table predictions so far, you'll know that Hull, Oxford, we are both tipping to be right down near the bottom end of the table this coming season. So the very good starts. Derby, who really knows, QPR should be near the top end in my mind, but we don't know that for sure. Norwich at home. I mean, we've got Leicester v Coventry, which is a derby of some sort. The M69 derby, apparently. So there you go. You learn something new every day. I think, ignoring the Leicester game at the end, that is a pretty steady start for Coventry as well, actually. I think they'll definitely take that. I'll put them in very kind as well, because, as I say, I think it's a good little tester for them. One thing I will say on Coventry, though, is they have had a slow start to the last 3 seasons. So if they have a slow start here, I'll be very, very concerned based off those fixtures on paper. I'm already looking at this thinking I've got Birmingham too high already. I may reassess that in a sec. But we've got Derby next. Yeah, Derby's fixtures are far from ideal. I would say Coventry, that'll be tough. Ipswich away. Ugh. West Brom away. Bristol City at home isn't great either, if they're anything like the team that we saw last season. But Preston, Stoke, 2 teams I'm not fancying to go terrifically well this season. So I'll put that in. It could be better for the Rams. I mean, John Eustace has had a very good start to his last couple of seasons. So if he managed to pull something out of the bag here, that'd be very, very impressive. But yeah, Coventry, Ipswich, West Brom, and to a certain extent Bristol City. Could be a lot better for Derby, that. Let me reassess Birmingham's a sec, because now that I've read out a few fixtures, I'm starting to think Birmingham's isn't actually as easy as I thought. Ipswich at home, okay. Leicester away, tricky. Blackburn, Oxford, Stoke. Actually, Oxford and Stoke, I'm not fancying to go too well this season. Blackburn, ditto. So, okay. I'll put them in 50-50 because I think it's a mixed one, that for the Blues. So we need to find something now to feel decent. Is that going to be Hull City, who are our next team here? Coventry away. No. Oxford, Blackburn, Swansea. I mean, they've got Southampton at home on the 6th game. I mean, that's screaming 50-50 energy as well for me here. I think these 3 games here, or these 2 games here, are good. Then it gets a bit sterner after that, because I think Bristol City and Swansea are very mid-table energy for me this season. So I feel like I'm thinking Zach Viner again with them. I feel like Zach Viner is going to be massive. There's going to be so many teams in Zach Viner based off everything I've seen so far, but I may have to reassess some of these and start putting some in decent afterwards, because it's a very mixed one for Hull, that. Ipswich Town are next, the favourites for promotion this coming season, but this is a very, very stern test for them. Ipswich have got to go to Birmingham on the opening day. Then they've got Southampton. They've got Sheffield United coming up not far after that either. Derby could be tricky. Preston, they should be fancying their chances there, but Derby may be able to bloody their nose a little bit as well. I think ignoring Preston and Derby, that is basically as hard a fixture schedule as you get. So I'm going to put Ipswich in OGs. I mean, from their perspective, it's a very good way of figuring out where they're going to be this season. If they come out of that smelling of roses, they will be absolutely laughing, because then after that, Ipswich could be looking very, very fearsome this coming season. So yeah, it's in OGs, but it's a great way for them to get into the flow of things in the Championship this coming season, especially if they are going to be the promotion favourites that everyone is expecting them to be. We've got Leicester City next. I mean, they have got the kindest of starts possible, actually, just going through all of these. They've got the Sheffield Wednesday voucher on the opening day, which is always a good start. Preston away after that. Charlton, they've signed well, but it may take a bit of time for those new signings to all, gel together. Birmingham at home, obviously not ideal, but it is at home. And then they've got Oxford as well. They've got the aforementioned M69 derby coming up after that. But ignoring that, these first 5 fixtures are almost, apart from Birmingham, as kind as it gets. So I'm going to put that in very kind as well. As I say, I may have to reassess Bristol City and Coventry afterwards, but Leicester, I think, so far have probably got the kindest fixtures that we've seen. Middlesbrough are next now, and these are looking very, very average. Swansea, Millwall away is quite tricky. Norwich away is quite tricky, actually. Sheffield United at home. Preston away, okay, starting to get a bit kinder there. I'm looking at these teams because there's a lot of middling energy, but as I started going through them, I thought, actually, that seems to be quite tricky. I'm going to put that in could be better for Middlesbrough. Preston, after that, is where it starts to ease up a bit, but otherwise, a lot of mid-table sides / playoff chasing sides there. I mean, Sheffield United, they'll be thankful that that's at home, but if Sheffield United are going to go well this season, then it could be a very tricky one for Borough. So I'm definitely getting could be better energy from that. We've got Millwall next, who are a lot of people's dark horses for this coming season. Sheffield United away is one that stands out to me instantly. Wrexham at home. Charlton away, which is a South London derby. This is looking could be better as well, actually. Yeah, not anything in there instantly that I'm thinking Millwall will be very thankful for. I mean, their home games, obviously, as always with Millwall, are the ones where you are looking at that thinking that's where Millwall are going to be at their best, because the Den is always stereotypically a fortress. James McLean earlier in the season, well, before the season started, said he was looking forward to Millwall away the most, so he's got that early on.
I love going because it's half time. Millwall away. Give me Millwall away.
So that's going to be interesting. I'm sure he'll get a very, very nice reception there. But yeah, I'll put Millwall in could be better, because instantly I'm not getting great vibes from that opening start, but again, it's another tester to see where they're kind of at, considering a lot of people are fancying them to go well this coming season. We've got Norwich City next, a team who are quite hard to predict this coming season. They've got Millwall at home, Portsmouth away, Middlesbrough at home. I'm looking at that thinking that's pretty decent, actually, for Norwich. A nice mix there of teams who they should be looking to get 3 points from, and not too tricky away games on the face of it. So yeah, I think that's fairly decent for the Canaries. I can't drag this. Come on, there you go. Wrexham and Coventry after that, a bit sterner a test, but those opening 4 games I think they'll be pretty happy with, actually. Up come Oxford United. They've got Portsmouth, Hull. Then it starts to get very tricky after that. Birmingham away, Coventry at home, Leicester at home. I'm thinking could be better, because the first 2 games I think they'll be very happy with, actually, and then it starts to get a bit nasty after that. So yeah, Oxford is considering we've raised concerns in the podcast about how few new signings they've made so far, I wouldn't be too happy with that, especially as they try to focus on strengthening as well. Pompey, what are we looking at here? We've got Oxford away, Portsmouth, they've got Norwich at home, then West Brom away, then Preston at home. Then it's the South Coast Derby after that, and then they've got a nice little pick-me-up after with their Sheffield Wednesday voucher coming up in the 6th game of the season. I think actually this is a very nice set of fixtures for Portsmouth. West Brom away, we don't know how Ryan Mason's going to do there, so it could go one or two ways that. Obviously the South Coast Derby is going to be a tricky one, because Southampton are a very good team, and that's going to be a very fascinating fixture. But I'm looking at those first 4 games and thinking, yeah, I think Portsmouth will fancy their chances there. So I'm going to put that in decent as well. Preston are the next side we're having a look at, and I think those opening 3 games are Very testing indeed, actually. QPR away, I think QPR could be quite good this season, but we don't know that for sure. Leicester at home, Ipswich at home. I mean, it's good that they're facing them at home, obviously, but I wouldn't exactly be thanking the fixture schedule for having to face those two so early on in the season. After that, they've got Portsmouth away, that's a fair old journey, isn't it? Middlesbrough at home, then Derby away. I'm thinking could be better with Preston. That where's Preston? Preston are here. Why are Preston there? What's happened there? Oh, I don't know what's happened there. Okay, Preston, I'm putting back in a could be better. I don't know why Preston were already on my screen. Did I drag them on early on? I don't know. I'll tell you what, QPR fans, I am liking the look of these opening fixtures. Preston at home, I think that is a very nice start. Watford, quite an unpredictable team away, so don't really know there. Coventry away could be better, but then after that you've got Charlton at home, nice little London derby there on their own turf. Charlton may take a bit of time with their team having to gel. Wrexham away looks tricky on paper, but I think Wrexham could have a slow start because I'm not completely convinced about the manager, but also because they're still assembling their squad as well. By mid-September it may start to be looking a bit more assembled, but may take time to gel as well. And then Stoke at home as well. I think that's pretty decent for QPR, actually. So I'll put them there for now, but I've got a bit of a question mark on that. I may move them down as we move towards the end of the vid. Sheffield United. Okay. Yeah, so Bristol City, Swansea, kind of a mid-table start there for them. Millwall at home. I'd always prefer to face Millwall at home. So, I think that's all right. Middlesbrough away. Ipswich away is a standout one there. And then they've got Charlton at home. That feels very mixed to me. I'll put that in. I'll put that in mixed. I'm not looking at any fixtures there thinking that Sheffield United should be looking at that as a easy, in quotation marks, 3 points. So a fairly mixed schedule there for the Blades. Southampton are next, which is interesting. They've got Wrexham on the opening day, and as I alluded to a second ago, Wrexham are quite hard to judge early on because they're still assembling their squads. So I think they may be susceptible to having a bit of a slow start. Ipswich away after that is. But yeah, that's basically as difficult a fixture as Southampton will get this coming season. They have, of course, got the South Coast Derby on the 5th game of the season, but it is at home, and they may look at that as an early chance to get one over their big rivals, perhaps. Stoke, Watford, Stoke at home. That's pretty kind. Hull away, yeah. Oh, this is quite a tricky one actually, because this is as mixed as it gets really. So I'm gonna have to put that in Zach Viner, I think. It's just because I'm struggling to nail down at all whether that's a good start or not for Southampton. I'm not really got any strong feelings either way because it's very different ends of the spectrum, I think, with Saints. Stoke are up next, and I think this is a pretty tricky fixture schedule, actually. They have got the Sheffield Wednesday voucher on the 2nd game of the season, which is always a very, very handy thing for them to have. But Derby at home, Derby will be fancying their chances, I think, in that one. Southampton away, far from ideal. West Brom at home, we don't know how West Brom are going to look this season. Birmingham at home, I won't thank you for that. And then QPR away as well. So I think that's in. It's either in OGs or could be better. I'm going to put it in OGs because the OGs tier is looking very light at the moment. But that's not a great fixture schedule for Stoke, albeit they have got their Sheffield Wednesday voucher on the 2nd game of the season. So they should be able to get something from that, but after that, it's not the most ideal of fixtures, I think, for the Potters. Swansea's is looking pretty decent, actually. Of course, Sheffield Wednesday vouchers there. They've got Middlesbrough away. Don't really know how Middlesbrough are going to go this season. Sheffield United at home isn't great, but, they're at home. Watford, Hull, they're both at home. Birmingham away after that isn't great, but I think overall I'd be okay with that if I was a Swansea fan. I'm going to put that in decent because, well, there's still some tricky fixtures in there. They should be looking at that and be thinking we could get a pretty decent points tally from the first 5 games at least anyway. And you know what, if I was a Watford fan, I'd be pretty happy with this opening set of games as well. Of course, they've got Southampton at home here, but it is at home. They'll definitely take that. Charlton, QPR, they're not having to travel very far there, are they? Swansea, Blackburn, Millwall, another game where they're not having to travel very far. Yeah, I think those opening 5 games, apart from Southampton, are pretty good, actually, for Watford. I think this may actually be one of the kinder set of fixtures that we've seen so far. So I'm going to put that in very kind, I think. Yeah, I think, obviously, they don't have to travel very far, which is always a good start. So, yeah, I think Watford fans, I'll be very happy with that because there's definitely plenty of potential for getting some early points on the board there too. We've got West Brom next and Blackburn, Wrexham, Portsmouth, Stoke, Derby, Middlesbrough. Yeah, another team where I'm looking at that thinking there's definitely potential to get some points on the board there. Wrexham away. It could be tricky, but as I say, we just don't know what Wrexham are going to look like 2 games into the season when they're still assembling their squad, because I think they could be leaving a lot of their business until quite late until the window. Otherwise, Blackburn at home, Portsmouth at home, Stoke away, Derby at home. Yeah, I would be looking at that as a West Brom fan, thinking that's great as well. I'm going to put that in very kind. They may actually be the kind of set of fixtures. I'll compare some of them towards the end of the video, which is going to be very shortly. But yeah, West Brom, you'll be happy with that, surely. And finally, we have Wrexham, Hollywood FC, if you will. They've got the Sheffield Wednesday voucher on the 3rd game of the season. That's at home as well, so really no excuses there. Southampton away, far from ideal start there. West Brom at home, Millwall away. QPR at home, Norwich away. Oh, that's actually pretty tricky. Apart from the Sheffield Wednesday game, yeah, that's a pretty tricky one for Wrexham. I'll put that in could be better then because yeah, they've got some tough fixtures there as a bit of an introduction to the season, but they have actually got of course the Sheffield Wednesday game at home. They may be looking at West Brom and QPR, thinking that's an early chance to make a bit of a name for themselves. But yeah, Wrexham will be looking at that thinking we definitely could have had that better. So there we have it. This is how the opening games are looking for every team in the Championship. I'm just going to reassess some of these. Let me have a look at Bristol City again, because that was very early on in the video when I was still trying to get my lips around some of these teams, so to speak. Sheffield United away, then Charlton, then Derby, then Hull, then the Sheffield Wednesday voucher, then Oxford. Okay, yeah, that's staying in. Very kind. That is a very kind set of fixtures. Coventry, let me just have another look at who they have got. Hull, Derby, QPR, Oxford, Norwich, Leicester. Okay, that's in very kind, but I'm thinking that's more in the decent section. It's on the periphery of very kind and decent, I think, considering they have got the M69 Derby away right at the end of that run. Shall I rank some of these? Let me rank some of these fixtures. I need to put up some of them right next to each other. In terms of who's got the most difficult opening games, I'm keeping Sheffield Wednesday as the most difficult, simply because every game is a difficult game for Sheffield Wednesday in their current plight. So I would be very difficult for me to argue putting them anywhere else other than that. Out of who's got the most difficult games from Ipswich and Stoke, I think it's got to be Ipswich, even though, of course, they are a big fish at this level now. If it was an ordinary team, you'd be looking at that thinking that is pretty much as difficult as it gets. So yeah, they've got to be the second most, and then I'll have Stoke as the 3rd most difficult. And then it's down to Bristol City, Leicester, Watford and West Brom for who's got the easiest opening set of fixtures. As I say, Coventry are probably on the periphery of very kind and decent. Bristol City's Sheffield United at home is a tricky start, to be fair, but after that, I think they'll be very happy with the fixtures they've got there, particularly with the Sheffield Wednesday voucher. Leicester, Sheffield Wednesday voucher on the opening day of the season, then Preston, then Charlton. Birmingham at home is obviously not ideal, but then they've got Oxford after that before the M69 Derby. I think those opening 5 games, apart from Birmingham, are pretty much as good as it gets, probably. West Brom have got Blackburn, Wrexham, Portsmouth, Stoke, Derby, Middlesbrough, and then Watford. My instinct there early on is I'm going to put Leicester as having the easiest fixtures, I think. And then have West Brom got easier fixtures than Bristol City? I would say they probably have, because I'm not looking at anyone there thinking that's... Because Sheffield United, Bristol City, that's obviously a tricky game for Bristol City. But West Brom should fancy their chances against every team there, I think. So I'll put them next. Where are Watford in comparison to those two? Charlton, QPR, Swansea, Southampton, Blackburn. Based purely on the fact that Bristol City have got their Sheffield Wednesday voucher, I'll put them ahead of Watford, and then Watford ahead of Coventry. So that's how it's looking. Leicester have got the easiest fixtures, then West Brom, then Bristol City, then Watford, and then Coventry. Well, there we have it. This has been me ranking every team in the Championship based on who has got the easiest and most difficult start to the forthcoming season. And it's not long now, ladies and gents, not long now until Championship football is finally back in our lives. I cannot bloody wait. But do you agree with me on my assessments for each team here? Let me know in the comments section below. If you've enjoyed the video, make sure you like and subscribe for more content like this. We'll have our league table predictions continuing tomorrow with our top 8, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But otherwise, I've been Ryan Dilks from the Second Tier, and a big thank you for watching.